Hi, my name is Chris Bradshaw, and I'm the founder of the African Library Project. In 2004, my family and I took a pony trekking trip to Lesotho, a tiny mountainous kingdom completely surrounded by South Africa. After a couple days, my son got bored riding his horse, so he pulled out a book. When I asked about libraries in Lesotho, our guide said, "I think there is one in the capital city." What? I couldn't stop thinking about one library in an entire country. When I got back and talked to the headman of the village where we had rented our horses, he said, "We've always wanted a library, but we had no idea how to get books." "Well, a library is a lot more than books," I told him. "You'd also need the space, the furniture, a trained librarian, and you really need a group of local citizens that are committed to the long-term sustainability of the library." Well, I told him I'd get books if they could do the other things. 2 months later, he told me that the library was half built. Wow. And later, they had a Peace Corps volunteer who was coming anyway, and it turned out she was a retired librarian. So together, Mary Ann Eisman and I helped start 5 libraries in Lesotho. Well, things have changed a lot since then. We've come a long way. And now we have 3,086 libraries in 13 countries. We have shipped 3.1 million books. We serve over 2 million readers. And in 2019 alone, we had 433 libraries. Basically, we turn spaces like this into spaces like this. Our mission to start and improve small libraries in sub-Saharan Africa also educates Americans about Africa. Our model is one that any American can do. You collect 1,000 gently used children's books, raise about $500, and we can help you start a library in Africa. Our libraries look different wherever they are because the local communities make decisions about what it is that they want in their library and the way that it works best in their local context. Remember that first library I showed you? Well, here's one in Lesotho now. Our libraries differ from those in the United States that you might be familiar with. For example, just getting the books to the location of the library where there are no roads can be a real challenge. The libraries are small and have simple systems. We've published a book called How to Set Up and Run a Small Library in Africa that helps teacher librarians, no matter what their experience, manage a successful library. We have small classroom libraries in our primary schools so that the students have instant access to them. And if there are books published in the native language, there's a section of the library with books published in the native language. Our culture corners help preserve the cultures of these countries where their local culture is quickly vanishing. And in countries with high incidence of HIV/AIDS, we have a section on HIV/AIDS for local citizens to get correct information about this deadly disease. We train teachers to become librarians, and they do a terrific job. Most of them are the English teachers for the schools. Of course, to get all this done, we rely on in-country partners that are NGOs or governments that are operating in the same space that we do, education, literacy, or library development. In the US and Canada, our book drive organizers are just like these kids, 6-year-olds at a Montessori school. So we work with lots of schools, we work with families, we work with senior citizens and corporations, you name it, they've done a book drive in this country. Our books definitely change lives, just like Kanalelo, the girl in the front of this picture. She read a book about a girl who was having challenges in the United States and decided, despite it all, she was going to try to go to college. So Kanalelo became a mediocre student she went from being a mediocre student to becoming an excellent student. and she is now a university-trained teacher in Lesotho. Or Ketalelo, who is a San Bushman from the Kalahari Desert in Botswana. Ketalelo was there when our books first arrived, and he grew to love reading. He read almost everything in the library and became the first San Bushman to ever graduate from high school in Botswana. Not only that, he became one of the top pupils in the entire country, and he is now working on a graduate degree at Michigan State University. If you look at this image of a UNESCO map of global literacy rates for those aged 65 years and older, you can see that illiteracy is still a huge problem in Africa. But take a look at this map that shows 15 to 24-year-olds. It's turning blue, which means that Africa is becoming literate just like the rest of the world. We didn't do all that, but we're very proud of the part we have played in making this happen. Illiteracy is not inevitable, and it is a key indicator in terms of poverty. Over half of all extreme poverty has disappeared during the last 30 years because of the hard work that we and others who are like-minded like us are doing to increase the literacy in the world. Together, we are making a difference.